All right, everybody. Out here swapping out some teeth. Just made a video on how to swap out teeth on this gyro track here. I want to make a quick video. It's kind of explaining to folks that are new, getting into the mulching business. I myself, I am new in the mulching business. I don't have but just a couple hundred hours into the mulching business. I have my 259 with the brush cutter. I've acquired a lot of time on it, doing jobs. But a dog back behind me scratching. Anyway, the folks that think that this is easy or you're gonna run out and make a lot of money real quick. You do make a lot of money, but you don't get to keep a lot of that money. You're pretty much a money handler, is what you are. I am a legitimate business with insurance, and we're working on our state licensing. Mississippi, you don't have to have. I mean, you run out and do these jobs, you don't have to have, but to do right away and stuff like that, it's best to have a state license so you can get better contracts and anything. So just to break down cost on, so this machine behind me is roughly, after all the stuff that I've got on it, I can't remember the exact number, but it's 170, let's just call it 175,000. And I've got some stuff added onto it that you normally wouldn't have to have. So that breaks down to, with insurance, is pretty much, you might as well write a $3,000 check a month. That's just with the insurance on the machine. That's not your business insurance. So let's let this idiot get by. Anyway. So you got machine cost plus my dog coming up here. He allowed a fart on us. But you got your machine cost, you got your insurance cost. Next thing is your fuel cost. Well, this thing has 52-gallon fuel tanks on it, and so you're burning about, if you run it all day, you're gonna burn 45 to 50 gallons. So we all know what that costs depending on where you're at. And you're filling that up every day. So you add that up on what that costs. Grease. You run through about a tube of grease a day. Because I like to grease this thing. You gotta grease your head for every run hour. And then your machine, I grease it at least the beginning of the day or the end of the day, depending on what I'm doing. I run Hot Shots fuel additive in my machine. Helps out on fuel consumption, so it equals out in the end, and it's better for your motor anyway. Your tow vehicle, towing it to the job. Now, if you get on a job where you're there for a long time, it's really not that bad, but you have transport and going back and forth, filling up with diesel, filling up your day tank. You got a diesel truck where you're filling up your truck. I don't know what fuel prices are right now, and it's really eating into your profit. Then you got to stay competitive. So you got to either you bid the job or do it by hourly. Bidding is better. You're going to make more money bidding it than by the hour. Little small jobs, you can bid them or do them by the hour. Small jobs eat up profit. You don't really make a whole lot of money, but it's nice to run out to a job and make, $600 or $900 in a day when you need that to pay a fuel bill. Because my fuel bill comes about once a week, and it gets expensive real quick. Then you got to pay yourself, or if you letting somebody run your machine for you, like if you have multiple machines, you got to pay them. And then you got all the tax junk that goes along with it. Everybody's got to get their share. So when it boils down, yeah, you may come out of a job where you're making several $1,000s, Um, but in the end, you only get to keep just a little bit of it. And, you may be thinking, oh yeah, man, I got this $6,000 check, and next thing you know, you ain't got about $1,000 left of it. And you say, well, that ain't very much. Well, no, it's not. But um, it the the bigger the jobs you can get on, the more money you can make. Little jobs are just fill in work, stuff like that. But the big jobs is where you make your money. And you got to add in. I forgot you got to add in teeth uh, and breakdowns, anything like that. If you got to call if you got to call a mechanic out to work on something, you got to pay that mechanic bill. If you got a hose blowed, anything like that. What I really recommend doing is when you go to a job and you agree on a contract with a customer, whether you write it out in a contract agreement or it's just a verbal, old South handshake agreement. You have an idea about what your fuel is going to cost you for that job. You can run it real quick in your head because these Caterpillars have a fuel consumption on it, so it tells you exactly how much fuel you're burning in a day. You know what your machine is going to burn in a day. Quickly add that up and figure out even your truck fuel, and go ahead and get a deposit as soon as you and the customer agree on a price or whatever. It don't matter if you're coming to that job in a month. Go ahead and get that money. That way you're not out a week or 2 weeks or whatever when you're running on this job. Say, a job that you thought was going to take a week and it rains, well, it takes 2 weeks. Now you stretch that paycheck way out. You got to pay for fuel. So it's best to go ahead and get that deposit so you're not putting yourself in a bind financially. And bigger companies, I don't know if they really have to worry about that. I'm just me, and I'll have I'm teaching my dad how to run my little machine, so he can help me out, so I don't have to jump back and forth. I don't know if bigger companies, if they do the same, or if it's best to have a line of credit for your business, which we do. So if we get on a big job and we need $20,000, I love to get on a job and spend $20,000 in fuel. If we needed $20,000 in fuel and teeth and grease and whatever else, well, I can go take that line of credit out and at the end of the job pay it back, or once I get my deposit or whatever, do that. But I really recommend, if you're thinking about getting into mulching, really work your numbers and know exactly what you're getting into. I studied mulching, the profit, the numbers for years and years before I even got into it. I used to work offshore, and it really wasn't beneficial to me because I was only at home half the year. So I really couldn't make the money that I needed to really justify working all the time while I was at home, paying for a machine and everything like that. But really, if you're serious about getting into mulching, really work your numbers and know your numbers. That way you're not just jumping into something, because anybody with good credit can go down and pick one of these machines up and run it. And then when that bill comes to you and you've done paid this and that and everybody, and you had 2 fistfuls of dollars, and now you got nothing. That's why I say know your numbers and make everything stretch out as best you can, because you never know when you're going to have a breakdown or a month of rain, and you can't do nothing but sit here and look at that thing, because I promise you one thing, the notes will keep coming and you're going to have to keep paying them. a good checking account is very beneficial. If you can, pay extra on your machine, whether it's, if your bill's $2,703, pay $2,800 on it. Just a little bit in the end, because these machines go through so much. And I run a lease on my machines, because I want to turn them in after so many hours and get a new machine, because I constantly want to keep new stuff. Cost me a little bit more, but I made a video on why I run new equipment. Boy, this dog right here, I tell you what, he will poot on you in a second. Good gracious. Point is, know your numbers before you even walk into the Caterpillar, ASV, Bobcat, Lord forbid anybody use a Bobcat, Kubota, any place. Know your numbers and talk to the people. If anybody wants to ask me any questions about my setup, what stuff costs, anything like that, shoot me a message. And I'll be glad to answer any questions you have as best of my knowledge. Like I said, mulching wise, I don't have, thousands and thousands of hours, but I have had my own business for a long time. I say a long time, several years, and I do know my numbers. So when I got into this, I knew, I can say when, salesman said, well, it's gonna cost X amount of dollars, and I look at, yeah, I knew that. But if anybody's got any questions, shoot me a message. If you will, like, subscribe, and we'll keep turning out content like this. All right. Me and Bennett signing off.